Today I'm going to show you how you can round corners for a square object. Rounding corners will give a more smooth appearance and make your block look more like a product. For rounding corners, it's important you know how to draw a cylinder, so you know how to draw round objects. First thing I'd like to show you is to round just one corner of this little block over here. I will zoom in. Okay. A bit, so nice and big. For rounding corners, we will replace each corner with a little quarter of a cylinder. So we need to determine the part of the cube we would like to round. For instance, I want to start rounding my corner over here, and for a nice cylindrical rounding, we will just take off a little square over here. You don't need to draw this line, but I think it makes clear what I mean. So you have a little tubular block over here, or rectangular block over here, with a square top and bottom. What you want to do now is to draw a little quarter of a circle over here. Of course, you can construct it, but if you know how ellipses work, you will know that it will start over here and over there and be a bit like this, right? Not too difficult. And same over here, a little rounder than at the top, because we view it more from the top than the top one. And there you have your little rounded corner. I will now elongate these lines in order to make the rounding for the other corners the same size. And of course, since it's in perspective, your lines will be in perspective as well, meaning that the corners will look a little bit different, of course, in the far corner or the left and right corner, as opposed to this foremost corner. Okay, so we need to chop off a little square over here. If you have enough experience, you can just do this without constructing. If you feel insecure about this part, you can use diagonals from corner to corner to make sure all intersections are at the right place. Oh, sorry, this is a bit far off. Yeah, so make sure each little square is looking good and square. I mean, square in perspective, of course. You don't need to draw this line from intersection to intersection, but if you like, you can do that. Okay, so now I'm going to just round these corners. Over here it will be a little flat because it's the flatter side of the ellipse. Over here you will have a rounding, just like over here. And it's like a puzzle, so these parts together will form an ellipse, which we of course are not going to draw, but yeah. Okay, so over here you do not need to draw a new sideline because, well, the outlines of the cube won't change. But over here, the outline of the cube will change a bit from over there to over there. So it will move a bit inward. This is just the point touching, so tangent to this ellipse part over here. Okay, so now you have your rounded cube. It helps to indicate this line, so where the rounding ends, and here, for applying the shades, because if you're applying the shades, this is a rounded part, so here you have your the change gradually change from darker to lighter, and here you have just one color or one shade of gray, of course, and so same here, rounded and rounded again. So you shade these rounded parts like the same as you would shade a cylinder, and these flat parts the same as you would shade a cube. I will apply shades to the flat parts without filming that, because you know how that works. Okay, so now I've applied a darker fine liner at the visible edges of the object. You see it's a bit wobbly, I'm sorry for that. And I've applied a darker, well, mid-gray at this side, and a lighter gray at this side, pretending the light comes from somewhere above and a little bit to the left. And now I need to shade this part and this part and this part to make it look rounded. Well, this part is easy. It's a very small piece, so I will just draw a little line over here with my marker, giving it a little lighter shade than this part, but I cannot do too much because it's a really small part. Same over here. I will apply a little of this darker marker over here and leave the outward part white. I could also apply even a darker shade if I like. Well, I think I just leave it at that, because you don't want to emphasize the shades too much. They don't need to catch your attention too much, right? Okay, so now I want to make a gradient from this one to this one. So I start with the mid-gray. So I attach well a little more this color to that side, and then make some lines to make the change to the lighter color, and then I just fill in with this lighter colors. If you like, you could leave a bit light, so a little bit white over there to pretend there's a highlight, so there's something, it's